Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today I have with me James Kaleda from the Out of Order podcast. James, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.
We are heading out from the Gun for Hire range. This is where we decided to meet because it's halfway between where you live and Massachusetts.
Yep.
Right. And we are going to go for a drive, and we're going to talk about you and how you got into all of this stuff, how you started podcasting. You said you've had some experience working for a distributor, a gun distributor, not
Yes.
not the illegal stuff. But first, we need to figure out how to get to where we're going.
All right.
So let's do that. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna head to
Head northeast on McBride Avenue toward Lackawanna Avenue, then turn right onto Lackawanna Avenue.
I think I need to turn around.
No, I think we want to go east, unless it's telling us to do something else.
Yeah, it tells us to get to somewhere else. But you know what? We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Head southwest on McBride Avenue toward Ray Avenue.
There we go. You're gonna be a little bit of the co-pilot here. So.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so we're heading east. We're looking for 46 East.
Yeah, on the
Right onto the US 46 East.
yeah.
Turn right. On the 46 East. Now, see, I try to leave all this stuff in because I think it makes the sometimes make the show a little more interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
I've interviewed some people in Dallas, Texas, and I've never been in Dallas. So
All right.
I'm like, hey man, Dealey Plaza is not too far. We're gonna go there.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was pretty cool.
Cool.
All right, let's do this. Awesome. All right, so James, tell us about yourself, man. This is how I know you. You just like got into the podcasting game and jumped right off the deep end, and you're like cranking out material and making the rest of us look bad. That's what I know.
All right. So 5 years. This will make that all better, right? So 5 years ago, I was testifying against new gun control laws in Trenton, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And they put 21 bills up.
I gotta put my shades on. Don't take it the wrong way.
All good. 21 bills up to be considered, and about 500 of us showed up to testify, and about 10 anti-gunners showed up to testify.
Wow.
And so we're sitting there, we're all waiting our turn, and they gave the anti-gunners all the time in the world to talk.
Right. Yeah.
2-minute rule, but nobody had the stopwatch going when they were speaking.
Of course.
Right? And then when all the pro gunners get up to speak, they kept interrupting them. Yeah, 2 minutes.
Right.
Oh, you're not on the bill. That's not relevant to this. 21 bills, right?
Wow.
Basically, anything you want to say about gun control, you could say. If it's 21 bills, and it's going to be relevant.
Right.
But they cut us off, and then
Bastards.
So my turn came up. Was the end of the day. I knew we all weren't going to get to speak because that'd be way too much time, and
Right.
I had golf to play or something. So I get up there. He cuts me off, and he says, we're going back and forth. We're yelling. He's like, "You're out of order." I said, "No, you're out of order."
Hence
And
the
apparently,
Out of Order podcast.
yeah, apparently that was a line from a movie that I never saw, and and then the state police escorted me out of the building.
Wow, bastards.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, uno momento, por favor.
Shotgun with Charlie.
All right, so James, you were telling us that.
US 46 East.
Oops, that's directions.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
21
we might need that.
46 East for 1 mile.
Siri's coming along with us. Enjoy the ride, Siri. So you were telling us that you were one of the guys that testified.
Yes.
That got less than 2 minutes.
Right.
And they told you that you were out of order, which is how you get the Out of Order podcast.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
That's pretty clever, man.
Thank you. Yeah. I got teased a little bit for that nickname, so it was good. I liked it. But yeah, yeah, so it's, after that, I was active in New Jersey Second Amendment Society for a while.
Oh, cool.
Did some volunteer work with them, and it's in the back of my mind. Like, I got to write, I got to do a podcast, I got to do something.
Yeah.
Get the message out there, and I ended up sometime between that hearing and another hearing. I was arrested. I was about to testify. I think it was the following year at another gun control hearing.
Wait, you were arrested?
I was arrested. Yeah. So
what'd you do? Dude, I get all the people that have been arrested.
I know. It's like a club. But dude, it is a cool club, man. I'll tell you.
Right.
It's expensive. It's really hard to get into, but let me tell you.
I've interviewed Brian Aiken and Shanine Allen. I'm like, these people have been arrested and done jail time. Like, people, and I tell people this, they're like, what? You're interviewing a convict?
Well,
not quite.
Yeah. So, I just had this feeling, right? I'm living in Parsippany, New Jersey. I had this feeling. I'm like, it's one of these days. I'm so outspoken. I'm so vocal. They're just gonna come kick down my door and decide that my Mossberg 500 is an assault weapon. Right?
Wow.
So I moved. I'm like, this is a solution. I'm like, I'm gonna move, and I think we're gonna bear to the right towards Route 3 East, which is
right.
Okay.
3 East, Lincoln Tunnel. That's us. Oops, that's not this.
So I moved to Pennsylvania, right over the river.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, at least here I'll have some time. Like, if they're gonna arrest me, a little more to the left, not all the way to the right. Right there. Good. We have a lot of these here.
I know, right? That's okay. I don't know where I'm going.
Cool. So I move over there. They'll have a little bit of time if they decide to arrest me. I'll have to go over there, or they'll have to extradite me or something. So, sure enough, right before I'm supposed to testify at another gun control hearing, they issue a warrant for my arrest.
Wow.
State police, Pennsylvania State Police, show up outside my door, guns drawn.
Whoa!
And arrest me, keep me in jail for 8 days.
Holy.
Once the hearings are over, they let me out. And about a year later, charges are dropped. And, so it's... At that point, I was selling industrial dehumidifiers for a living, and that kind of messed that job up a little bit.
Sure.
So I waited about a year. I did a whopping 5 videos on my YouTube channel that year.
Yeah.
And I got a job working for a firearms distributor.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So I did that for 5 years.
Did you guys get a discount?
The margins are so ridiculously small.
That sounds like a no.
Yeah, that's a no. It was when I got there, they were like, we're working on 8% margins, and so there's really no discounts.
Gotcha.
And so I had that job for about 5 years, and I kept thinking, like, I got to do a podcast. I know there's still a lot of activism going on, and I'm not a firearms instructor, but I spent those 5 years training, and so I got out and I realized, I'm watching the news and I see that these people, you turn on the TV and all gun owners are overweight, racist white men.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I know, right? I could lose a couple of pounds. I hear you.
So I'm like, but that's not who's out there, right? That's not who. That's
absolutely.
That's not who I see. So I'm going to start to interview these people. And the other thing I saw was that, there's a lot of pro-gun people in Canada. There's a lot of pro-gun people in Australia. There's a lot of pro-gun people in England. But you turn on the TV and you don't see that. So I want to interview these people, and I want their, even if, I don't know, I guess when I started I felt like even if no one watches this, at least there's a record, so that you could say, it's like all these gun owners are just white racist people.
Right.
So, but no, because there's Tony Simon, right? Here's Ken
Tony Simon's awesome.
Yeah.
The Reverend Ken is awesome.
And, interview these people and put their stories out there, and, and then you can see, you can see the truth and start to unwind, and then you start to talk to people and their stories about why they get into firearms, and, you think, well, if those weren't there, if we had the laws that the left are pushing for, right, then this person would not have been able to save their life.
Right.
This person could still not have a firearm. And we did that interview last week with Belle McCormack, and she talks about being assaulted by her ex-husband and going to court, and the court saying, no, we can't give you a restraining order today. And then again, right? And then this time you get the restraining order, but he still comes, right? And then he takes your kids.
insane.
And
That's
then
insane.
so yeah, you need that firearm. You need
Right. The restraining order is just a piece of paper. It's not gonna.
Yeah.
It's not gonna do anything.
Right. And so, it's one thing for me, I fit the stereotype of a gun owner, right?
Right.
So it's one thing for me to be saying all these things, but when I start compiling these stories of other people that don't fit that stereotype, that really are, victims of gun control, that, it's, then maybe that will change the narrative. Maybe that'll change the way, people see gun owners and see gun rights.
That's cool. That is way cool. Your podcast has been out for like 3 weeks.
Yep.
And you're cranking out 15 episodes, I think is what I saw.
Yeah, 16 went up
16,
this morning.
sorry.
Yep.
Went up this
Yep.
morning.
Yeah.
I got out early.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, you weren't making the rest of us look bad, man.
No, it's well, and so 5 years I've procrastinated about doing it, right? So I'm just making up for lost time. But one of the people that I listened to when I did this, when I started, there was two people that really shaped my vision for my podcast. One was Anthony Calandro.
Yeah.
And the other was Tom Woods. And I kept wishing he would do more gun interviews. And I'm like, well, he's not, so I will.
There you go.
It's like he's got his very niche market that I like, and I'm gonna make my niche. And there's the other day somebody says to me, "Where are you gonna run out of guests?" And I was like, "No,
You're not gonna run out of gas.
I was a little worried that the interviews would start to be the same,
Right.
But then I interviewed Maria Ampe from Stir and Shoot. Right, so here's a woman who's a firearms instructor and cooking instructor. One company.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep. No hunting involved, right? And the next day, I'm interviewing a woman who is a Safari Club International board member, firearms instructor, blogger, outdoor writer, and Hunter's Ed instructor. So those are really different interviews. It's, even though you might say they're part of the same demographic, it's
completely different.
It's completely different. The stories are completely different.
Absolutely.
And then I was there's a philanthropist, video game programmer, and firearms instructor coming up, I think, Friday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there's all these really unique stories out there, and
it's really like the stories behind how people got into what they got into, or how they got into firearms, is they're all different. They're all completely different. They really are. How did you get into gun stuff? Did you grow up hunting or shooting?
I wanted to hunt when I was a kid, and my dad was just indifferent.
Yeah.
We have a 250 feet long unpaved driveway, and I nagged for 2 years. And finally, my dad was like, "If you shovel the snow off the driveway, we'll think about getting you a rifle."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I did it, and I got my 22 caliber bolt action rifle.
That's cool. At what age?
12.
12.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yep.
And you were in Jersey at the time?
Yep, I was in Jersey at the time.
Cool.
Laws were the same, but that's the funny thing about laws is they're enforced differently. So
right.
It's like back then we could go out into the backyard and shoot a 22 and it was no big deal. Now it's a reason to,
Oh my God, calling the SWAT team.
Yeah.
So where did you go after the bolt action 22? You had this 22 as a kid, shoveling the snow.
Yeah, 22 as a kid, shoveling the snow, and then I didn't really think about guns until I was in my mid-30s, and I was like, I know I have a 22.
What was the switch?
I got laid off. It was one of those things where I always wanted to go hunting, wanted to go shooting, and just never had the time, and so I had already gotten my bow license, never gotten my firearms license. So
wait, you have to have a license for a bow?
To hunt with it.
To hunt with a bow, gotcha. Okay.
So I went to the police, and this is what really inspired the activism. It's like, you can talk, I can explain to you what the process for getting a firearm in New Jersey is like, but until you live it, then it doesn't sound so bad. It's look, skyline.
I know, uno momento. So I'm going to show some of this. We got the New York City skyline. We we got a couple miles ahead of us is, oh God, what the hell is that? I can't come up with it.
Empire State Building?
Yes, that's it, the Empire State Building. So this is way cool. Part of the reason I wanted to get some video heading into New York City. New York City! Anyway.
Yeah. So, it's, you are really treated like a criminal. Like an actual criminal. You are applying for an exception, to break the law. And that's how gun law in New Jersey is. That's something.
It's completely insane.
Yeah.
It really is. In Massachusetts, so I'm an instructor and I have a lot of students and whatever. I tell once you get a gun license in Massachusetts, you have to notify the police in the town you're moving from, the police in the town, if you move and you got a gun license, you have to notify the police in the town you're moving from, the town you're moving to, and you have to notify the state police. So I tell everyone, you're not on the same list as sex offenders, but you're at the same level as sex offenders, because you have to let the police know when you move.
Yeah.
Which is completely ridiculous.
Yeah, and they actually in New Jersey reverse the burden of proof. All guns are banned,
Right.
So, except by exemption.
God, that's so screwed up. You hear I listen to Anthony's. I listen to Gun for Hire a lot. I've been a fan since literally his show was probably in the 20s, episode 20 or 30 maybe, like a long time.
Yep.
And he has Evan Knappen on all the time, and Evan talks about how we're in New Jersey. You guys are law-abiding criminals.
Yeah.
And when he says you can't have a gun unless you fall in the exemption, which is insane, completely insane. All right, so you got back into it in your mid-30s, and what's the direction say?
We're going right way.
We're going.
Yeah, we're going to merge. We're going to follow signs from Lincoln Tunnel.
That's all.
It'll be
cool. It'll be easy to see. It's underwater.
Yep.
It'll be easy to see.
Yep.
So mid-30s, you decided to get a gun or whatever, get into it more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I was driven by, I think, the same thing that drives a lot of firearms owners to buy more guns. Is that the threat that it's going to get banned?
Right.
So
I say they're like potato chips.
Yeah. Yep.
You can't have just one.
Right. And so I wanted a semi-auto shotgun because I thought they might be banned, so I ended up owning one of those. And then I wanted an AR because I thought they were going to get banned. I want to get one of those, and an AK because one of those they're going to get banned. Right? So the anti-gun crowd is just driving the sales. RTSP got rich off me for a couple of years because I got to buy it. They're going to ban it. So
right.
And then and then as I got more training, I started filtering a lot of that stuff out. There really is no proper use for a tourist judge. So,
right. It looks nice.
Right.
It sounds
nice.
cool.
I guess you really could shoot clay birds with
a handgun.
With a handgun.
Right.
But
I like when they came out and they started using the 410, the 45 long Colt, and the 45 ACP, and they're like, same judge, stiffer sentence. Like, dude, that's great.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So you started getting into it. You got a bunch more guns. You became a lot more active. But when did the activism stuff really kick in? Like, how long ago? Like, you don't just go from, I've got a bolt action 22 to, testifying in front of the New Jersey State Senate.
Yeah, that came when I went to buy my hunting shotgun. So,
yeah.
I think I went through this process, and I think this is the process a lot of gun owners go through. From, I own guns and gun control is not that bad, to, oh my God, gun control really is that bad.
Right.
To, well, it's my fault because, I never gave any money to the NRA. So let me write a check and an email to the NRA. I'm sure they'll have this taken care of by lunch.
Right.
And then, when that doesn't work, you're like, well, I really should call my congressman. I should call my senator, because, obviously no one's told them that this is unconstitutional.
Right.
So I call them, I tell them, they roll their eyes, and, and then and then that's when the activism starts. That's when you find the other 5,000 people that have been shouting the same thing for the past 15, 20 years. And, and that's when you find out that the voting districts are rigged. That's when you find out that the voting machines, that we have a verified report of people going to vote and saying, if you're voting for the Republican, use that machine. If you're voting for the Democrat, use this machine. Yeah. Yep. And surprisingly, even though that was confirmed, we all know that's true, they didn't cancel the election. They didn't disregard the results. So and so yeah, it was. It was like the musicians say. It was a 10-year overnight success. So
Right.
a 10-year overnight activism, and so and then I don't think I was working at the time. Yeah, that's right, because I got laid off.
You said you got laid off, yeah.
So all of a sudden I have this time. So I'm like, all right. So we start writing letters, start showing up at events, start going to meetings, and and this is something that I think. When we're seeing a technology change, which is really going to help with this, I think. But we talk about infighting among 2A groups.
Oh my gosh,
and, I think what happens is, you have your $35 and you think you know what the solution is. You should do A, right? So you give your $25 to, ANJRPC or NJ2AS and say, you guys should do this. And then they don't do it. And then you get mad and you start to think that, the president of the organization is just driving around in limos doing cocaine with hookers and, and not
leave that to the musicians.
right. But
All right,
realizing
hang on. We are about to enter a Lincoln tunnel, so
Yes.
very cool stuff. All right. So hookers and cocaine.
Hookers, okay. And you don't realize that you have a really cool idea, but there's 100 other people that have a really cool idea. Each one of them needs $25,000 in funding, and each of you gave $25.
Right.
So somebody gets to pick, and inevitably that leads to conflict, and so and you need money and time. So for a while, when I was with NJ2AS, I would try and find volunteers to do things, and well, you guys should be at gun shows. All right, well, we'll be at gun shows. Okay, we need volunteers to sit at the table at the gun show.
Yeah, I can't make it.
Right. Yeah. No.
That I noticed that too. When I first got into gun stuff, I would volunteer my time to the state's pro gun organization, and I would sit at the sportsman shows and stuff, because I'm like, you know what, I got to do this. Like it feels right for me to do this. And I was way early into gun stuff, but I'm like, this is cool stuff, and I think I like doing it, and I want to put some time in it. Someone needs to do it, and no one. You don't have any volunteers. I got the time. I'll do it. So
Right.
yeah, it's everyone wants to do something. Everyone wants something done, but no one wants to do anything.
Right.
Is what it comes down to.
So, we're seeing technology change now where you could crowdfund things, and there's so much work that needs to be done. Like, I would just love it if every day, every Democrat politician in New Jersey woke up afraid to check their mail for what lawsuit was coming next.
Right.
And, like they get sued for just saying something wrong about the Second Amendment. And, if they're like going into anxiety and they need medication and therapy because they just can't get out from underneath the weight of how many times they've been sued, that'd be wonderful. So anybody who likes that idea, take it, it's yours, run with it. And ANJRP does a lot of stuff. NJ2AS does a lot of stuff that makes a lot of people mad, but I like it. And like all these different angles. But it's a fight, and it's a fight that I don't see. I don't, like, I used to look at it and be like, all right, there's hope. But now I'm like, there's no hope for New Jersey. Yeah, and then it spreads. And so
it spreads fast. I'm from Massachusetts, and bad things are happening there all the time too. All the time, and they just keep getting worse and worse and worse. More restrictions, more registration, or legislation, more nonsense, more bans. Can't have this, can't have that, can't have this, can't have that.
Hey, you guys got that funny trigger.
The 50-pound trigger.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, 10-pound trigger pull-on stuff. I think it's only on brand new guns. I don't know what it is. My deal is this. I'm just one of these guys. Like, if the trigger sucks on your gun, the trigger sucks on your gun.
Yeah. We're not bullseye shooters.
I hate saying that, but I've been fortunate that I don't know. I don't want to say I don't know a good trigger from a bad trigger. I just have my triggers.
Yep.
Yeah. And I know the. Where are we going to go here?
I have absolutely
Let's go where there's not traffic.
Yes. Excellent.
The trigger on my revolver is different from the trigger on the Glock, which is different from the trigger on the other revolver, which is different from the trigger on the AR. It's just, you know what? Side alignment trigger squeeze, man.
Yep.
That's all it is. That's all it is. So people don't get active. It's important for people to do that.
Yes.
There is a lot of infighting.
Yep.
Everyone wants something done, but nobody wants to do anything.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. And so that's how you started the start getting into it.
Yeah, and then you run into the issues with, guns are really are my issue. There's other issues people have too, and it comes down to making a choice. Like if you're in a union, right?
Mm-hmm.
However you feel about unions, but if you're in a union, you have to choose. You either vote for your gun or you vote for your job, and that's that's a hard spot to put someone in.
It absolutely is.
And then you talk about moving, and I hear both sides of that. And like I live in an RV now, because
there's an RV, Clark.
Yeah. Because it's hard. Like if they don't know where I am, then it takes them a little while to find me. So I can
That always
prepare.
sounds suspect, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, well, they did come to my house with guns drawn. So
I get it.
guns drawn. Like that was the
That's the freaky part.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gents, we are in New York City. Do you remember that? This is like I steal everything from something else.
Okay.
And there was a commercial for a barbecue company.
Oh.
And these old cowboys were sitting around and
for the salsa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, this is made in Texas. They're like, this one's made in New York City. And they're like, New York City.
Then turn right onto 10th Avenue.
So yeah, we're on 10th Avenue. Hey, girl.
Yeah.
Right. Are you supposed to I heard New York is dangerous for using the crosswalk when you don't have the right to walk.
Oh.
So I don't know.
New York's just dangerous. You can't be
It's
armed.
just
so it's
dangerous.
dangerous.
Well, I know. I have my tactical pen.
Okay.
My Smith & Wesson tactical pen, so I can write my way out of situations. And I may have brought a little pepper spray.
Oh, yeah.
If that's for what does Anthony say? You put it on your hot dog as a spice when you're done.
There
So
you go. Yep.
that's the game plan. Cool, man. So what else can we talk about? You got your podcast going, which is awesome. Is that the picture that you have on your podcast artwork? Is that you?
That's me. That's me getting thrown out of track.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yep.
Like, why is this guy got a picture of a bunch of cops?
Right, yeah. And it's funny, you mentioned your tactical pen, right? So the cop walks up to me, I'm holding a tactical pen, and the first thing he does is puts his hand on top of my hand with the pen. And
Whoa.
I'm like, oh, you've been paying attention. So, I made a joke about taking my First Amendment rights too, and he laughed, and I laughed, and
He laughed. I laughed. He laughed, and then he slapped the cuffs on me.
right, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
Look at this over here. I don't know if you can see this. We have New York's finest. We have a guy riding a horse.
Right, yeah.
How about that? How can people find your podcast?
So outoforderjameskaleda.com.
Okay.
And they automatically load themselves up there with
Nice.
3 hours of work at least per episode on my part.
Right.
We're on Facebook, but you'll find links to all that on the podcast page.
Awesome.
And sign up for the email list, because sooner or later we're all getting kicked off of YouTube and Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And
My God, totally.
You believe they took Brownells down?
They put it back up.
They put it back up.
They did put it back up a few days later.
Yeah.
It's completely ridiculous. I've got a couple YouTube channels. The Writing Shot. I don't have any advertising. Like everything's out of pocket. But the Writing Shotgun stuff. There's no guns involved in that. No shooting.
Oh, okay.
But the page where I have the gungrams, where I play the trumpet and shoot a gun, I have some videos that have monetization on them, and a lot of them don't. And what I do is I charge people for a video if they want me to do a shout out to somebody. Then I do a shout out, and they pay for it, which is cool. But I don't have any other monetization on it, so I don't know if I'm ever going to get booted for those videos. But we'll tell. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. What else? Podcast stuff. Oh, what kind of shooting do you do?
So I was lucky enough.
Are you a good hunter? Hunting for me is sitting in a tree stand, waiting for whatever, taking a nap, wondering what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, it's I've been very fortunate. I have a good spot. I get to hunt in New Jersey, and
Nice.
I have mixed feelings. I generally tell people don't come to New Jersey because it's dangerous. You could get arrested.
Right.
And I don't really feel like people like chuckle a little bit when I say that. But not really. Don't come. Like it's like don't
Really don't come.
give their tax money to this place. Don't pay your gas tax. Don't pay. you think about how many people have driven through here. Like when Janine Allen, when the Attorney General reset the guidelines, they said this affected 100 cases. So you figure, that's 100 people. And how long does it take for a case to go through?
Forever. 2
years, 3 years, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
50 people a year are arrested in this state for just having a gun. And so, it's... Don't come. Especially, it's not too late. If you've taken a job and you're coming here, you're moving here.
No, that's not Lincoln Tunnel. This is
Lincoln Tunnel. There we go. It's not too late. Stay where you are, or go someplace nice like Tennessee or Texas or New Hampshire.
I call it free America.
Right. Yeah. Because it's you can come here and they will tax you to death, and then when you try and leave, they will tax you some more. We have an exit tax.
Oh my gosh.
And that's if you don't get arrested between and the intro.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
that's craziness.
Now that I've said all that, the deer hunting here is absolutely amazing. They're like, it's more like deer farming, and you just pick the one that you want.
Wow.
There's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. There's no such thing as a bad spot.
Oh my gosh.
And there will be a deer.
I got to tell you, I came down and spoke at the New Jersey SafeCon last year, and I went out for dinner with Sean Fisher and Rosie and Tony Simon, and literally we're walking. I was driving back to my hotel, and I came across 3 deer in a nice neighborhood. Like, whoa, these guys are everywhere! Holy moly!
Yep.
Pretty wild stuff. Cool. All right, well, listen, let's wrap things up, and then we're going to record a show for you as we head back to the Gun for Hire range. So you guys need to check out James Kaleda, the Out of Order podcast. We'll put some links on there, but he's got a Facebook page. How's the website going? Is it good?
Oh, website's good.
Website's up and going, so you should check out James Kaleda, the Out of Order podcast. Check out all of his stuff. Follow him. Please like and subscribe and share all of the Riding Shotgun stuff with your people, as well as James's stuff. And we will see you guys next time on Riding Shotgun with Charlie. James, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, listening, and subscribing to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Check out all the other great shows on the Self-Defense Radio Network. All of your pro-freedom podcasts in one place. You can find them at selfdefenseradio.net.